Hey, what's up guys, John here. America is now facing 25,000 repossessions every single day.
Cars being repossessed. It's a sight you may be seeing and hearing more of these days.
Car repossessions are on the rise as drivers across the country fall behind on car payments.
And tens of millions of Americans are looking at the car in the driveway, realizing they owe a lot more on it than it's presently worth. And many of these Americans are looking at simply doing something called a voluntary repossession, where they give the keys back to the lender and say good luck. Look at what's happening on Google Trends dating back over 14 years, all the way to where we are right now. What I believe is going to happen over the next couple months, now that student loans are due, 43.5 million Americans owe student loan bills, you're going to start seeing more and more and more pain coming into the auto market. In this video, I'm going to break it down for you to show you exactly what's going on. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's happening in America. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. Take a look at this. So, the average auto loan is 125% loan to value, meaning if it's a $50,000 car, they would owe $62,500 on that vehicle. What would happen is people would come in, they would put no money down, they'd roll taxes, tags, fees, everything into the loan, and they would just sign on the dotted line and drive off the lot. But now, as the interest rates around the world continue to rise, the job market softens, inflation gets worse, insurance and taxes, everything continue to get worse and worse and worse for consumers. They're looking at this car realizing, you know what? I don't need this thing. I don't need this car. I'm going to give this car back. And they're realizing the best thing to do is to simply hand the keys back to the lender, because they're sitting on a big loss with this vehicle with all of this negative equity. So here's what's going on. Auto loans are considered to be severely delinquent when they're past 60 days, right? The data from Cox Automotive shows that 1.89% of all auto loans were severely delinquent in January 2023, and at the highest rate since 2006. The first year included data in the data series. However, the trend is even more pronounced among borrowers with lower credit scores. The research found that among subprime auto loans, 7.3% were severely delinquent. The rate represents more than 7% increase from the previous year and is also the highest rate since Great Financial Crisis 2006, right before everything hit the fan. While not increasing at quite the same pace as delinquencies, defaults are also on the rise. The auto loan default rate reached 2.72% in January, up 6.2% from December and 33.5% from the prior year. However, January's rate is still below the annual average rate of 2.9% from 2019. Look at what car owners are doing now because they have negative equity. What this means, negative equity, is that they owe more on the car than it's worth. And so, here, look at this lady here, this lady Nicole, what she's going through, because I'm telling you, millions of Americans are going through exactly what Nicole's going through. Nicole Scott financed a used Infiniti in late summer 2020. Car prices are starting to skyrocket, but the single working mother of 4 couldn't delay the purchase because her old car had stopped running. Fast forward to March 2023, when used car prices have declined from record highs, Scott visited a dealership wanting to trade in for a now refinanced car and encountered obstacles because her negative equity were owing more on a car than the car's worth. Scott says the dealer wouldn't take her car as a trade-in unless she paid the negative equity. Alternately, the salesperson said that she could keep her current car and get a new $62,000 loan for a 2023 Infiniti. That would mean that she would continue to pay her $400 monthly payment and add another $1,300 car payment for the new car, bringing her total to $1,700 a month. And so when you have people that they have a car, they owe more on this car than it's presently worth, and they want to downgrade their car. They want to go from, a $50,000 car to a $25,000 car. What are they going to do? They're going to have to make 2 car payments, or they're going to have to do a voluntary repossession. She says, I was very clear that I don't want a mortgage payment for a car payment. I was looking at the paperwork like I don't know what this says. Many car owners who bought during the pandemic are finding themselves with growing negative equity, according to automotive research firm Edmunds. The average negative equity value on auto trade-ins was $5,545 in April, up nearly 24% from the previous year. with interest rates on auto loans right now going through the roof. I mean, I saw this. I mean, this is pretty shocking. So, car dealership guy, he has 450,000 followers on Twitter. He says, and all he talks about is the car market, car prices, auto loan rates, and so forth. Bad news, used auto loan rates are up again. Now 14.35%, a 20-year high, a 20-year high. So if you have this market that just went through a rampant bull run in the last couple of years, now interest rates are through the roof, people don't have disposable income, and lenders are tightening up on their lending standards, what does this mean? It's going to be a smaller and smaller pool of buyers with a very, very, very big pool of motivated sellers looking to unload this inventory. So here, the delinquency rate has been high all year, but has not been leading to a similarly high level of defaults. But defaults increased in October after declining in September. Defaults on auto loans increased 4.2% in total in October from September, and we're up 31.2% from a year ago. Defaults on subprime auto loans increased by 5%, and we're up 20% year over year. The default rate to date through October is 2.69%. The default rate in 2019 was 2.9%. So you're seeing what's happening with just the car market, but that's only one of the problems impacting the auto industry. The other is car insurance rates. They're up nearly 20% nationwide due to auto thefts, uninsured drivers, and other factors. So when you're looking at what's happening here, you're seeing a massive, massive crisis that's happening and hitting millions of American consumers. So if you're thinking about buying a car, or if you're thinking about selling a car, pay very, very close attention to the trends, what's happening. You're going to start to see a lot of really, really great cars getting big, big, substantial haircuts as dealers and lenders are looking to offload this inventory and take some risk out of this market. The average car payment right now, this is crazy. $729 is the average. One out of five people with auto loans is $1,000 per month. $1,000 per month. So if you have car insurance for say $200 a month and gas, maybe you fill up the tank once a week for $50. Conservatively, that's $1,400 plus repairs. So that's on a $1,000 a month payment. If you have a $729 payment, you're still looking at $1,300, $1,400 just to drive from point A to point B. What happens? What happens when people start looking out online and they start saying, hey, you know what? This $50,000 car that I purchased, it's worth 30. It's worth 25. It's worth 20. It very well could happen. It very well could happen because at the end of the day, buyers set the price, not the sellers. And if interest rates are through the roof, like what they're at right now, 20-year high, not many people are going to be able to go out there and go buy a car at 14% interest rate for a $50,000 valuation. They're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to be able to do it. So you're going to start seeing all these sign-on bonuses. You're going to start seeing all these discounts Q1, Q2 of 2024. There's just no doubt about it. For context, just to show you how far this market has come, in 2016, the average car payment for new cars, $495. So almost a 40% jump in car payments since 2016 in 7 years. But yet wages have remained the same. How does that make any sense? Insurance has almost doubled. Gas prices have doubled. Wages have not. There's an affordability crisis that I think is starting here in the automotive industry, but it's going to move into jobs. It's going to move into real estate. Because if people lose their car, how can they pay the rent? How can they pay their credit cards? How can they get to work? All of these things are going to be changing in a very, very, very big way. And so when I look at the state of the American consumer, the fact that 2 out of 3 do not have $400 in the bank, we're walking into the holiday season where people generally travel more, they spend more on their credit cards. At the same time, you have 43.5 million Americans that owe student loan debt at $503 a month. We're going to start seeing this situation where it's going to get harder to get a loan. It's going to get harder for a lot of people, but there's also going to be a lot more opportunity. When they say, auto loan delinquencies are on the rise and they mainly talk about subprime being the main problem, lenders are looking at that. They're looking at this. They're realizing, hey, most of these losses are from bad credit score buyers, right? This is where a lot of our losses are held. So they're going to start changing their lending standards. You want to put yourself in a position, if you want to buy a work truck, if you want to buy a new car, if you want to make any really, really big moves, put yourself in the strongest position possible to go out there and invest, to go out there and make that big purchase. I think we're going to see some G-Wagons. We're going to see some really, really, really nice cars coming for sale at substantial discounts because people aren't going to be able to afford these payments. They're not going to be able to afford the cars, and they're not going to be able to afford the insurance, not going to be able to afford the gas. They're going to have to just start downgrading and downsizing dramatically. This is going to have a huge impact on the overall economy. What do you think about this? Drop below. We'll have a conversation about it. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I think is going to be the greatest wealth transfer in American history, we would love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item at all in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. One late payment can drop your credit score a whopping 180 points. Stay your credit report for upwards of 7 years. Do not let one or a couple items get in the way of a bright future. Go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. Catch you in the next video.